The electronics are the heart and soul of any rig, especially a rock crawler. So today we are going to talk about the various components that you will find in your RC rock crawler. Full disclosure, these electronics are the same electronics that you would find in pretty much any electric vehicle, but we're going to relate it to rock crawlers and some of the, let's say, difficulties that we have in the rock crawler world, the sort of needs that we have. Right here is a fully, oh wait, we forgot servo. I thought I was ready. We're gonna throw a servo in there. Yep. All right. Now, this is a full electronics kit for basically any electric rig, but we're gonna talk about it as it pertains to RC crawlers today. We have the radio, which consists of the receiver that is in your rig and the radio which you hold in your hand. Yeah, you should always have good trigger discipline too. Then we have our servo, which provides our steering power. We have our ESC, or motor speed controller. ESC stands for electronic speed controller. This is what tells your motor what to do, and this may be a brushless version like this Castle Mamba X, or it could be a brushed version like our BRXL. Then of course we have a motor. This brushless motor has 3 wires to it, and a brushed motor would have 2 wires to it. That is one easy way to tell the difference between them. We also have our battery. You gotta have power to your system, and the battery plugs into the motor speed controller, and then the motor speed controller plugs into our motor. And that's how that little system works together. And then you may or may not need an external BEC. If you're using something big and beefy like the Mamba X, it has a pretty stout internal BEC. However, if you are running into heat issues, or let's say you're running a much smaller controller, a microcontroller, and you're running an ESC that does not have a big BEC, then you will need an external BEC. Now, this is more typically used for servos that are low voltage, something around the 8.4 volt range and lower. But if you have a servo like this that has direct power, or can be powered up to, let's say, 14 volts or 16 volts or whatever the case may be, then you actually don't need a strong BEC. You only need a BEC that's enough to power your radio, which really isn't much. And that's gonna have to be a topic for another day. But let's just kind of connect these guys together, and I will show you what it looks like. So this is a sensorless motor, which means it only has 3 wires. This controller is capable of doing sensored motors, but we're not going to use that part today. So we plug in the 3 wires on this sensorless Revolver Classic. And there it is. It's plugged in. Now, we would have our servo, and the servo, this particular one, is direct power, which means that it has a JST plug on it. Other models that we have a JST adapter. Same concept though, there we go. And of course I have stolen the end of this servo. Let me just grab another servo that I haven't stolen from. Easy enough. There we go. Ah, yes, here we go. And this one is a direct power capable servo, but I don't have the adapter. So we can actually just plug this directly into the radio itself, and it'll just run on the BEC output that our ESC provides, because this ESC does have an internal BEC. Now, BEC, what does that stand for? Battery Eliminating Circuitry. Because back in the day, you had to have a separate battery to power your radio. These days, especially with running electric motors instead of gas, we have built-in BECs to power our radio. All right, so there's our throttle. When you plug it in, you always want the ground biased to the outside. And in this case, these are both brown pin grounds. The ground is usually going to be brown or black, but those are almost always on the outside of your radio. So if you can't read, it's got a little S for signal, a little plus, and a little minus molded into the case. But if you can't read that, then you can pretty much just assume that that's how it is, ground on the outside. Since this ESC has a strong enough internal BEC to power the radio, and actually the servo in this case, we do not need the external BEC. And as you can maybe tell from my talking, there's a lot of ways that this can be wired up. This is going to be an ongoing series about electronics, so I will get into it more and more. All right, we got a throttle limiter on here. That's good. And let's see if this still binds together. And I will give you a little, there we go. Very loud motor. Hey, and it armed. So now that we have an armed system, I'm gonna grip this radio backwards like some people do. Well, you know, backwards use like this. Hey, our servo's working. There we go. And then a little bit of throttle on this guy. And this is a Castle ESC with one of our largest outrunners. And even though it has extra back iron, which dampens the noise, it's probably still gonna be pretty loud because Castle ESCs. Oh, what's going on here? Did I fry my ESC and forget? Oh, nope. Just I needed to give it a little more throttle to get it started. There we go. She's trying. Oh, yeah, I don't like the way this is sounding. I think this may be an ESC with a problem that I forgot about. Let's just make sure everything's connected properly. It seemed to start up in reverse. Yeah, it's starting up in reverse. There we go. So it spins up. It is basically silent at full speed other than the wind going through the motor. And as most Castle ESCs are, a little loud on startup, but pretty slow. Now, I do wonder, I'll go ahead and give you some tips here. If you have a system that is not starting up, oh, I wonder if this has ABS built into it. Okay, so our reverse is going normal, our forwards, man, it feels like there's some sort of ABS built into this radio. I'll have to check into it more because I can kind of hear and feel that it's, yeah, you can, normally that's not going to be right on startup. We can check our reverse operation and it just kind of goes. Yeah, there's got to be some ABS. Oh, that's terrible. When you're having issues like this, it's never a good idea to continue and continue and continue. This ESC is so beefy that it's probably not going to end up smoking doing this, but that is an issue. If you're having some problems, don't just keep grabbing more and more throttle to see what happens. Take a step back, ask some questions, try to get some help. Oh man, yeah, you can hear it. There's got to be ABS in this. I did take this off of some Go Fast rig. So what happens if we reverse our throttle? Oh yeah, now it's fine. So a little ABS on the braking direction. Now if I go in reverse, it's going to give us, yeah. Man, I can feel and hear that vibration. It doesn't like it. It doesn't like it, but yeah, it's operational though. At least it shows y'all the concept of everything laid out. We can steer a little bit. See if I've got a steering horn around here. Yeah, we'll install it into a rig or something next time so you can see it. But there you go, full kit, all plugged in together, all operational. You can install this into a rig. What I would be using this 1450 Revolver Classic for is actually converting Travis and Terrell's rig into a tow rig in the future. And the 1450 Classic is a huge motor. It's got all kinds of torque. It is going to be a great fit for this heavy old tow rig. And one of the reasons why I am choosing this one as a tow rig is that it is so heavy. It's an all steel frame, all steel everywhere, steel under here, steel right there. It's a beefcake. So it's going to be really good for towing because you want heavy rigs for towing so that it keeps traction and doesn't do wheelies. So there we are. I hope that explains some of the individual components. If you do have some questions, leave your comments below and I will do my best to get to them. Let me know what you would like to see next on our components, because I'm going to break down each of these components and we're going to talk about them more in depth in the future. So if you got any ideas on which ones to do first, let me know in the comments and I will do my best to get to those first. As always, I thank you for tuning in. Hope you have a great day. Divided by 21, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3s.